Wagwan Masses, Dapper back again, and this is One Aim Sports. With the Premier League finally starting back up, I wanted to give you my predictions for how the table will look this year. Because of my new things never really looked too good last year, but hopefully I did a better um, prediction this year. Let me know your thoughts and comments in the section below. Also, again, remind you to make sure you check out the One Aim IG. Over there is where we'll have the quick reactions to everything that's going on in Prem, FPL, and the world of football in general. So be sure you go over there and follow us as well. But without further ado, we're going to get right into this table. All right, so once again, shout out to Tier Maker. You see how they have everything sectioned off. It's going to be very simple. We'll have to go one by one this year. But as you can see in my relegation zone, I have Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest, and Brentford. A lot of teams were in red. Bournemouth, I just think they just didn't do enough in terms of the transfer market to bring in new talent. Nottingham Forest, they do look like they brought in enough pieces to survive. So that might be something I regret a little bit later. But I don't know, between Lingard and Henderson, I think Brentford is stronger. But again, they didn't do much. They lost who I felt was the person that kept them up in Christian Eriksen. So the three of them, I think they're going to be in the mix. Bournemouth, I say 100% down, just like Norwich last year. But, you know, they're one of those yo-yo teams. But they're between Norwich, Brentford, and two of the group that I have in the next section. I think it will be a little fight. It will be a last day, somebody gets dropped in kind of scenario. Moving right along. All right, so looking at that bottom half group, I have Southampton and Fulham. Now, those two teams, along with Brentford and Nottingham Forest, as I said, I think all of them are interchangeable. Southampton, they just seem to always find a way to do it. Fulham, I don't have a lot of faith in Fulham either. I think Nottingham Forest has done more. But listen, Mitrovic put up 40. So if this ain't the year for them to find a way to figure it out, then I don't know when is. Above them, I have Everton, Leeds, and Brighton. Brighton, yes, they play this free-flowing style, but sooner or later, they're not making enough additions to the team to step to another level. Sooner or later, they're gonna fall that 10th, 9th place, and all these points that they're getting. Quality is gonna catch up to them. Leeds, I think losing Calvin Phillips and losing Rafinha is I don't know, it's irreplaceable. But they did bring in some good pieces, a lot of American-based pieces. I don't have much faith in them, but I think they've done enough. And with Jesse Marsh, he won titles with RB Salzburg and was coaching RB Leipzig. So he's a quality coach. Nothing against Bielsa, but they definitely spent more money this year than they did last year. So I think their chances are a little bit better. And with Everton, they lost Richarlison, who I felt, who we know was the biggest part of keeping them up. Calvert-Lewin wasn't healthy for most of the year. But overall, I just think there's enough quality in the squad where they'll be able to comfortably stay up. Not pushing towards the top 10, but they'll be fine. Similar to what kind of happened last year. Now, the mid-table group was the hardest to predict. I have, and that's 8 to 12. So that includes Leicester for me, Newcastle, Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, and Wolves. Literally, with all of those, you can just throw them all around. We don't know where, depending on who catches hot and who does what. They'll move around. I do have Wolves being in 12th. I think losing Jimenez had me pushing them a little bit higher, but losing him so close to the season, and I don't remember how long he'll be out for. Neto is back though. I got him in my FPL team for a reason, but I don't know if it's enough to push them back to where they were last year. I think a lot of teams around him got stronger. For example, Crystal Palace. One more. Zauha looks a lot more confident with Vieira leading it. Eze is back. Olise is still doing his thing. Edouard is, they just look overall like a really cohesive team. Aston Villa, Gerrard seems, in the battle between him and Lampard now in their second careers, I think he looks a lot better. They've made some key additions. Kamara was a steal. I still don't understand how he's not in Man U colors, but whatever. Overall, though, their team does look really, really good. Love to see what a full season of Coutinho and Watkins and them will be able to do. I think they'll be in the fight for European places until late. They might fade a little bit. Leicester as well. I don't know. As of today, I don't think they've made one purchase yet this entire summer, which is really, really weird. But just looking at their squad overall, for 2-3 seasons, they were in that mix for 4th and 5th place. So I expect them to be around there as well. And especially if they can keep Vardy healthy. Healthy Vardy is still one of the best strikers in the league. And the way our Leicester plays is so heavily weighted towards his style of play that, Daka and Iheanacho can't fill his shoes. But I think over the season, if he's able to play 30 games, I think they'll be in the mix as well. But that's a big if. He does seem a lot more injury prone. And lastly, I have Newcastle. I think they made a lot of smart purchases. Definitely expected them to come out and do like a City. I thought they were going to have the window that Barcelona had. But, they made some smart additions. Bruno seems, from the end of last season and now going into next season, I think he's going to just keep getting better. He's a great addition. They bought Botman as well in defense. If Callum Wilson can ever get a healthy, 4 or 5 months, he'll definitely, knock in 15 goals for them. But I think they'll be pushing for that last Conference League place in 8th place. That's where I have them right now. Still a while left in the transfer window, and injuries happen, and we have that World Cup mid-season, so who knows? Again, this is the largest gamble section in there. Now moving to all the European places. The first one for the Conference League, I have West Ham there again, mainly because they're so well coached. They didn't really have the kind of additions that would really give me a lot more confidence in them. I think Scamacca is a good addition, but Italians typically don't fare well outside of Di Canio and Zola in the Premier League. So who's to say? He might be another Wesley from Aston Villa or another Haller. It can be decent or a wasteman. I don't think he's going to be doing well. That's me personally, whatever. But it was their one issue last year. Once Mikel Antonio kind of fell back into his midfield ways, they were only getting goals from what's his name? Bowen. So they definitely needed a striker. I think a striker would have had them in the Europa League and had Man U, who I have in 6th, again, in the Conference League. Man U, listen, you see it. But we lost too many pieces. We didn't replace what we lost. And it's not even in terms of quality or Ten Hag or anything like that. We don't have the depth in our squad. We have, throughout the preseason, we just have too many young players that a lot would be expected of. And if we get any injuries to a Sancho, to a Bruno, we are in trouble in the midfield. McFred is McFred. They're McFred. Like, two of them don't make one player, honestly. And we'll have to rely on them for this whole full season because of the soap opera that is the Frankie de Jong situation. So, I don't know. I think in terms of playing style, in terms of coaching, we're a lot better than we were. But depth is just so terrible. We lost a backup striker in Cavani. We lost, you could say we gained Martial if you want to. But okay. We lost Matic, who would have been very key this year. I know Ten Hag would have loved to have him in there. as just a body. Pogba wasn't really a loss. Won't count as that. Lingard, Mata, it's just extra bodies. Like, we lost the wages. I'm happy about that. They're not a lot of quality, but we just needed more players in there. It's going to be a very long season with the Europa League, with all the cups and whatever. And we'll be fielding, just average age of 21 out there. Zidane, Iqbal, and Savage and them. They're just not ready for that level. I wish we could do an Arsenal and just kind of drop out of all those extra competitions, and maybe we'll be able to have a better season. But who knows? Jumping right into Arsenal, they addressed, I think, every major position that they needed help with. After losing Aubameyang last winter and Blaka earlier on this summer, they went and got Gabriel Jesus, and he looks phenomenal. He looks like the bargain of the summer. He looks like he's ready to knock in 20 plus goals for them. So, they look like they're gonna really be on the push to get into that Champions League spot. The problem is, though, I think they were already coming back from a deficit, so I don't really see them. I don't see their squad overall as being stronger than Chelsea's, who I think is still in that fourth spot. They've had a terrible, terrible summer. Losing Rudiger, losing Christensen, rumored to lose their captain in Azpilicueta. Alonso is looking on the way out. Like, they lost a lot of defensive starters and defensive pieces, but all it takes as of today is just one signing. They get Kimpembe in. The backline is as strong as it ever was, to me. Losing Lukaku was just really a distraction, and bringing in somebody like Raheem the Dream Sterling, I just think they'll get more goals, but overall the chemistry will be there a little bit more. They'll be a little bit more fluid. So I think they're still stronger in terms of squad than Arsenal, and definitely than Man U. As you can see, then we're just going to move right into my top three. I have Spurs leapfrogging Chelsea this year. They have done so many things, made so many smart buys in this summer window, improved in different spot ball players that I'm like, yo, you spend 60 mil on Richarlison, and truthfully, he's probably not going to start for them. They just bought Kulusevski, and you're bringing Richarlison to be competition for Son and Kulo. That's just crazy depth. Perisic as well. They got Langley as some, backup for cheap loan. I don't know. The Barca situation is weird. And a full season of Antonio Conte. I think they're going to push on. I don't know if they're going to challenge the top two, but I can see them definitely being a step above Chelsea and Arsenal's in that fight for fourth. I think they'll distance themselves a little bit and come in third easily. Top two, coming off the Community Shield, City look a little lost. Their usual fluidity doesn't look as good as we're used to, and I think that comes with time. Nunez definitely feels like he's a better fit than Haaland is in terms of system, but I still think City are the class of the league, so they'll definitely be. I have them pipping and winning again, and then I have Liverpool coming in second. It's a lose-lose for me, so I don't want to be proven wrong or proven right. I hope both of them could lose, but I definitely think City are still a cut above everyone, because once they start clicking with Haaland, they'll have to change their style to do it, but he's just going to reign in goals because that's what he does. But here's my full table. Let me know what you think. I don't need your full table. Just give me your relegation fighters and give me your top six. Let me know where you think I missed the ball right there, or I got it right online. Again, make sure you check us out on the One Aim IG. Follow us over there and share this video on IG, WhatsApp, Facebook, wherever you share with your friends. Drop in the comment section below. Again, and thank you for your time. This has been One Aim Sports. Peace.